Hello and welcome to the 6th week of Season 21, Season of the Deep, starting on June 27th, 2023. So for week 6, let's kick things off with our Legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a medium curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Devilian Mists, and has the Oracle Engine mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Hive enemies and the Plague Kregar. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Chimera Garrison, which can be located over in the Chamber of Starlight Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is a mysterious disturbance. The Trove Guardian is located in the Anchor of Light. The Wandering Nightmare is the Fallen Council in Archer's Line. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Fogoth, Fear, Korota, Despair, and the Fanatic, Insanity. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Phylax the Warrior will be the Empire Hunt, Asterian's Abyss will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Agility. For the 30th anniversary expansion, we have the loot rotation for Dares of Eternity, which will be on week 2's rotation with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Perfectus armor set being available. The weapons available this week will be the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Scathelock, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Submachine Gun Extraordinary Rendition, the Void Aggressive Burst Sidearm Brass Attacks, the Void Precision Frame Linear Fusion Rifle Threaded Needle, the Solar High Impact Frame Rocket Launcher Code Duello, the Void Lightweight Frame Bow Imperial Needle, the Solar Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Far Future, the Arc Adaptive Frame Sword Honor's Edge, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Distant Terminus, the Arc Adaptive Frame Grenade Launcher Interference 6, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Shepherd's Watch, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon Annual Skate. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is The Last Chance, where the modifier is Martyr, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Also this week you will have Altar of Reflection Choice, and Altar of Reflection Pact. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas Armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is Breakneck, with extra shields, lock loadout, and extra champions. Barrier, Overload and Unstoppable champions, Void Threat, Pestilence, Kinetic Overcharge, Arc and Solar Surge, with overcharged rocket launchers, and galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Ordnance, Contest Mode enabled, with Overload and Unstoppable champions, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand shields, Air Superiority modifier, with Solar and Strand surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Umsha Park. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon exotic mission on the EDZ. For the Season of the Deep, the featured fishing pond will be on Nessus. Raids and Dungeons. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the second encounter, Scission, called Crossfire. No one can shoot the launch crystals on the side that they're currently standing on. The Val the Disciple challenge this week is the third encounter, the Upender, called Defenses Down. This is where each player cannot kill more than one Taken Knight in total. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the second encounter, Oracles, called The Only Oracle for You. Players cannot destroy the same Oracle more than once. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the first encounter, Crypt Security, called Red Rover. This is where all Guardians must be an operator and shoot the 2 panels on the lower level. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the third encounter, Consecrated Mind, called Staying Alive. This is where you must not kill the spawning Cyclopses in the first 2 rooms. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the first encounter, Kali, called Summoning Ritual. Players must activate and cleanse all 9 plates, then kill all 9 knights and ogres before damaging Kali. Your Pinnacle raid will be Kingsfall over in the Legends tab, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Totems, called The Grass is Always Greener. Players cannot take the same brand type twice in a row. The second encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brand of the initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the brand claimer's buff. The third encounter, Golgoroth, called Gaze Amaze. The gazeholder must stand in the pool of unclaimed light when swapping the gaze. The fourth encounter, Daughters of Oryx, called Under Construction. Players cannot stand on the same plate twice in a single phase. And the fifth encounter, Oryx, called Hands Off. Players must not kill the same ogre or light eater knight throughout the encounter. Also, with Kingsfall being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic scout rifle, Touch of Malice. And the Pinnacle dungeon for this week will be the Grasp of Avarice over on the Cosmodrome. Next up, challenges. Into the Depths 6. Complete week 6 of Into the Depths mission for Challenge XP+. Frontline Salvager 6. Open 3 chests in Deep Dive activities. Redeeming Deep Dive keys grants bonus progress. Additionally, defeat 50 targets with void damage anywhere in the system. Guardians grant increased progress for Challenge XP+. Under Pressure. Successfully complete a pressure trial encounter at any depth in a Deep Dive activity. Additionally, defeat 7 bosses and mini-bosses in Deep Dive activities for Challenge XP+. Go big fish or go home. Catch 15 large or big fish at any fish pond. Fish must be at least 18 kilograms to be considered large for Challenge XP+. Round and round we go. Generate 200 orbs of power in Vanguard, Gambit or Crucible playlists for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. The Deep End. Defeat 100 opponents in Crucible with auto rifles, hand cannons, scout rifles, glaives or linear fusion rifles. Additional progress is granted for landing final blows with glaives, linear fusion rifles and hand cannons that are special ammo for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. Boss Battle. Defeat 10 bosses in Strikes or Vanguard playlists for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. And, absolutely stunning, stun 50 champions for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust.
Hello!
As a reminder, your daily loss sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armor you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or you're using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you will only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. Tuesday, June 27th will be the K1 Logistics on the Moon for exotic gauntlets, Void Threat, Arc and Void Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Hot Knife and Chafe Modifier, Overcharged Snipers with Barrier and Overload champions. Wednesday, June 28th will be the K1 Communion on the Moon for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar and Void Shields, Arachno Modifier, Overcharged Linear Fusion Rifle with Barrier and Overload champions. Thursday, June 29th will be Sepulture on the Throne World for exotic helmets, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Fire Pit Modifier, Overcharged Fusion Rifle with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Friday, June 30th will be Extraction on the Throne World for exotic boots, Arc Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc and Void Shields, Raider Shield Modifier, Overcharged Glaives with Overload and Unstoppable champions. Saturday, July 1st will be the Aphelions Rest on the Dreaming City for exotic gauntlets, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Void Shield, Epitaph Modifier, Overcharged Shotguns with Overload and Unstoppable champions. Sunday, July 2nd will be the Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar and Void Shields, Epitaph Modifier, Overcharged Swords with Overload and Unstoppable champions. And finally, back round to Monday, July 3rd will be the Bay of Drowned Wishes on the Dreaming City for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Void and Arc Surges, Void Shields, Stalker Shield Modifier, Overcharged Snipers with Overload and Unstoppable champions.
Lead the way.
Our 6th featured Nightfall of the season will see us face off against Kurasek, Thronebringer in the Psyops Battlegrounds Moon, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You'll be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, ascendant shards, and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with ascendant shards in Grandmasters. You will face enemies with Arc, Solar, and Void shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available. Enemies have extra shields. Champions foe, you'll face barrier and unstoppable champions. You can either use intrinsic exotics, use the subclass debuff, or use anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Fire pit, acolyte spawn firepools on death. Overcharged weapons, weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increase damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. 2 elemental surges, giving 25% bonus to an outgoing element's damage. Overcharged weapon, 25% bonus damage to a specific weapon type. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except galvanized. Join in progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions up to a maximum of 20. And contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. To combat champions this season, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods, which are Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle, Unstoppable Hand Cannon, and Unstoppable Glaive. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Anti-Barrier, the Kinetic Bow Wishender, the Kinetic Linear Fusion Rifle Arbalest, the Kinetic Pulse Rifle Revision 0, the Solar Energy Hand Cannon Ariana's Vow, the Solar Heavy Sword The Lament, and the Titan Gauntlet's Second Chance, which gain a second charge of your shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. And for Unstoppable, the Kinetic Fusion Rifle Bastion, the Kinetic Hand Cannon Malfeasance, the Solar Energy Sidearm Devil's Ruin, the Void Heavy Bow Leviathan's Breath, and the Hunter Gauntlets Athros' Embrace, which have a chance to stun unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the Void High Impact Frame Rocket Launcher, the Braytech Osprey. The Braytech Osprey has a base blast radius of 90, velocity of 41 and stability of 55. It can roll with Bipod, Chain Reaction and Lasting Impression, with Envious Assassin, Pulse Monitor and Auto-Loading Holster. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration, and Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Lord Shaxx brings Scorch to the Crucible for the 6th week of the season. Scorch is a 6v6 PvP mode where all players wield a Scorch Cannon. Equipped weapons and abilities cannot be used in this game mode. Movement abilities e.g. lift, jump and glide, sprinting and emotes can be used. Players are forced to use a Scorch Cannon that cannot be dropped. The Scorch Cannon has 100 ammo which is replenished on respawn. Matches have a 7-minute timer. Players have a 3-second respawn timer. Kills give plus 1 point each. The first team to reach 60 points wins. If the timer runs out before the team reaches 50 points, the team with the largest score wins. The player's current and longest kill streaks are shown at the top of the screen below the score. And Zone Control will be returning this week in the Relentless Crucible playlist. Zone Control is a 6v6 game mode which emphasises team-based gameplay in capturing zones and not kills. Zone Control forces players to collaborate more actively in capturing and defending zones. Capturing zones dramatically takes longer if only one player tries to do it themselves, with it taking 22.5 seconds to capture the point, whereas 2 can capture within 10 seconds. 3 or more players can capture a zone in 7.5 seconds. Beyond that, capturing a zone will net the team 1 point per capture, and holding on to that point will reward 2 points every 15 seconds per zone, making it essential to lock down areas rather than float between them carelessly. The first team to 125 points wins.
Delightful!
Trials of Osiris Dominion will be back at the weekend with some new rewards for players who do make it to the lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory exotic Ship, the Survivor's Journey exotic Sparrow, and the new Trial shader Glorious Patina. Trials of Osiris Dominion is a 3v3 PvP high-stakes game mode with a twist of capturing points. In Dominion, 2 teams of 3 go head-to-head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday reset until Tuesday weekly reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought-after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials will grant exclusive weapons, armour, Pinnacle gear, Masterwork material and even Adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
And that's it for the 6th week of Season of the Deep. Thank you for watching. Allons-y.
Guardian down.